Hey, what's up everybody? It's Adam Kirk with another video from kirkbranding.com, helping you get 1% better at the sales side of your business. Now today I'm going to answer a question that we all need to know the answer to if we're in sales. And at the end of the day, anyone who's in some sort of business is in sales. You're selling the product, your service, your personality, your resume. So at the end of the day, the answer to this question is vital. So stick around. What we're going to answer today is what makes somebody like you? How can we get somebody to like us? How can we get somebody to, more importantly, trust us? With the customer, you have to get them to trust you, but first you want them to like you. So I get it. Don't judge a book by its cover. It's a quote that I've heard many times, but at the end of the day, we're only human beings. We are flawed and we tend to judge a book by its cover. We do this whether we like it or not. So I'm gonna talk about some facts that blew my mind the other day, and I just want you guys to really let these sink in and begin to understand how these really plug into the sales process. Number one, people base whether or not they like you off of 55% visual. I'm gonna say that again. People base whether or not they like you on 55% visual. That means if someone doesn't like the way you look, the way you dress, your posture, your hair, right? 55% of their decision on whether or not they like you is visual. This says a lot. Now, we're not trying to go out there and get everybody to like us. We're trying to get the people who are going to be the customer to like us. So dress with professionality. Focus on the little things, and remember that people see you differently than you see yourself in the mirror. But we're going to go deeper into that as this video progresses. Fact number two, people decide whether or not they like you on 38% verbal, what you say and how you say it. So I'm sure we can all think of somebody who we just don't like the way that they communicate. Maybe they talk way too fast and they're always super excitable, and it's, you can't really hear what they're saying and they're just rushing through stories, or they're jumping all around. Or some people are way too slow and you feel like just making small talk with them takes forever, and you can't stand the fact that they speak so slow, right? That's 38%. So once again, the way we're able to get someone to like us through the verbal side of things, through that 38%, is by immediately picking up on their tonality, on their pace of speech, and mirroring and matching it, right? It's a very minor change, but it goes a long way in terms of getting someone to actually like you on the road to trusting you. Number three, people decide on whether or not they like you based off of 7% content. Now we see these facts. What does this say? It says you got to focus on how you're dressed. You got to focus on how you look. Now, don't take this subject or this meaning and twist it. I'm not saying that you try and follow all these Instagram models and such. I'm saying whatever field you're in, if you want to have success, you have to focus on these key components, because they can be the difference between a phenomenal year in sales and subpar. So let's talk about how do we capture someone's 58% of liking us on our visual presentation. Obviously, we can always talk about the professionality of someone, the way they're dressed, a suit and tie if you're in a very high-end sales, maybe a polo with a nice pair of jeans and a nice pair of shoes if you're doing door knocking, and really whatever you want if you're in cold calling sales, right? But think about your industry and think about your attire and which attire will fit best in that industry. Number two, we want to focus on the little things, such as the grooming, your hair, your nails, all the little things that people will notice, but they won't ever bring up. And number three, our posture, how we present ourselves from a physical standpoint. Number two, let's talk about getting that other 38%, because we're not going for just the mere 55. We want that full 100%. They like us, they love us, they trust us, and they're gonna buy from us. Let's talk about verbal. Now, when I say verbal, I'm not talking about what you talk about, I'm talking about how you talk about that subject, right? Your tonality, your pace of speech, the way you describe things, your ability to story tell. When was the last time you actually checked on how you talk? Like, really listen to yourself, record yourself. You ever wonder why we all hate the way we sound over a recorder? It's because we don't really check up on our own self. We're just too busy judging other people on how they talk. So take a moment, take 5 minutes out of your day, record yourself in the presentation or the sales process and think, would I buy from that guy? And if not, then maybe think about the way you're talking. So there's not really any strategy to this where I can give you guys 3 simple steps on how to talk better, because there's no key recipe. The key recipe is this: find out how your customer or potential customer talks. Find out the words that they use, the pace, the tonality, and begin to mirror and match that, right? Begin to copy it almost verbatim, and do it slowly so they don't immediately notice it. But over time, they'll think, I like this guy. Something about him. I like him. Without thinking, this guy's talking just like me. Now, I'm not saying customers are naive. Customers are actually extremely smart, which is why we have to study this content so we can learn how to communicate to them. But once again, in terms of getting that 38% from a verbal standpoint, there's no key recipe. It's simple as this: mirror and match the way they talk, how they talk, their tonality, and the pace of speech. Number 3, let's go after that last 7%, the content that we talk about. In the presentation of the sale, stick to the script. Don't go way off. I know that one of the mistakes that I made in my earlier career was I would try to build rapport with the customer, but sometimes I would go way off track. Let's say that he was into hunting, and all of a sudden I'd tell him about how I used to go hunting with my dad and how I'm from Northern California and how I miss the redwoods. And then 30 minutes later, he's out of time. I haven't gotten a sale, but I've heard nothing but old stories about him and his dad, which is great. It's great rapport. But at the end of the day, we want to make the sale. So in terms of the content you're talking about, make sure you're sticking to the script. Yes, you want to build rapport. However, understand the importance of their time and yours. So once again, in terms of the content you talk about, stick to the script on the straight line process, right? Sticking to the presentation, building rapport, building the trust, the product, the handling of objections, the consolidation. You have to understand each of these components of the sale so you can stick with it, stay direct, so that once they see how you present yourself and they like that, and they see how you speak and how you speak similar to them and they begin to familiarize that and they like that, and then you stick to the script, you're direct, and you're honest with them and transparent, more importantly, they can't not like you because you're similar to them. You're saving their time, you're being efficient, and at the end of the day, if you're selling a good product, you're fixing a problem of theirs. So there you have it. The next time you guys are in your sales process, begin to think about those facts. Make sure you are dressed to impress, that you are talking at the rate of speech and tonality similar to theirs, and that you're sticking to the script and running through the pattern so you can get better and better every single time. Thank you so much for tuning in today, you guys. If you guys want to see more videos like this and see how I can help your sales team, go to kirkbranding.com, check us out, and see how we can help your business. Also, make sure you guys are checking us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and be sure to follow our content because our goal as a brand is to provide value for you and your business to maximize your business growth. Take care.